Hi everyone. We're going to have a discussion today to increase our understanding of cyberbullying so we can learn how to overcome this issue. So at Wolf Springs Elementary, we follow the WSE way. An acronym that kind of shares our school vision is WSE. W stands for wholehearted, S for safe, and E for empathetic. This ties directly to our topic today. So what is cyberbullying? In short, cyberbullying is any bullying that takes place using technology. However, this can include harassing, threatening, any sexual remarks, mean comments. Humiliation is key, so it basically any action that is intended to humiliate. The purpose is to embarrass, and that can be done through rumors, demeaning language, exclusion, and more. The individuals most likely to cyberbully are those who are vulnerable to extreme feelings of anger, hate, envy, insecurity, and those susceptible to peer pressure. There is a study that was conducted by the U.S. Department of Education that also showed that students at schools that prohibit cell phone use do have more reports of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is serious and has lasting effects. Some of these include lowered self-esteem, social anxiety, depression. Many feel suicidal and have thoughts about suicide. And then this statistic is quite shocking, but between 2008 and 2015, the number of teens who attempted suicide or had suicidal thoughts has doubled. It can also cause loss of sleep, and a term called bullicide, which is suicide by bullying. Another study of upwards of 2,000 middle school students revealed that cyberbullying victims were nearly twice as likely to attempt suicide compared to students who were not targeted with online abuse. This fact kind of troubled me when I read it, so I thought it was a good food for thought piece of information for all of us. 61% of teens who have experienced cyberbullying report that it was because of their parents. So we get the opportunity to be the difference. We can train students to navigate the murky waters of social media while keeping them safe, teaching them to be safe, and then also training them to keep others safe. So how can we do that? A simple way we can do that is to monitor their online activity. So anything that we're directly involved in and have access to, we can communicate to them that is going to be monitored and then follow through and monitor it. Talk often to our kids, help them to be comfortable with having conversation with you. Initiate conversations about online activity and cyberbullies. If we just normalize the language of cyberbullying and teach them to identify it and talk about it regularly, then this will help eliminate any shame or fear that they might feel in bringing it up. We can also encourage kids to speak up about this issue, and we can build relationships with the students so that if they do have something that they need to share, they feel that you are a safe place to share that information. There are some legal factors to consider as educators with all of this. The first is students do have a right to free speech. That free speech is, of course, what comes out of their mouths and what they put in writing, and all that they put in writing, those same freedoms apply to what they put in writing via technology. However, there is no precedence for discipline unless school personnel has evidence that shows that speech and behavior was a substantial interference to school activities. So, while they have freedom of speech, if their freedom of speech choices then affect another student's experience at school and created a substantial interference, then school officials do have the right to discipline and step in and intervene in these situations. Courts have generally supported the reasonable discipline of students whose online behaviors away from school have substantially disrupted the learning environment at school. So keyword here is reasonable discipline. So obviously you want to be careful about the discipline measures, but courts have generally supported school officials' actions in this area if it truly did provide interference at school. Schools do have a responsibility when it comes to cyberbullying, although a lot of cyberbullying happens off the campus. Our first responsibility is to understand what it is, what it looks like, and how to identify it. How to identify also a student who might be experiencing it. So paying attention to those students who feel lower in their confidence, paying attention to those students who aren't getting enough sleep, those students who are feeling socially anxious, depressed, any changes in behavior. We need to learn to recognize and ask questions and identify when cyberbullying might be happening for as much as we can help it. Our next responsibility is to report, investigate, and then when we have evidence, discipline. So teachers, in this situation, you want to partner with leadership because they are going to be the ones who have the most information about the legal aspects and what exactly we are able to do about the situation. And once you're partnered with a leadership individual, we have to understand the language necessary to use for those legal purposes and address these issues quickly so that they don't escalate or continue. And last, teachers and educators can promote positivity. So we can talk to our students about doing the right thing. We can teach them to manage their emotions. So we can both prevent cyberbullies from bullying others, and then students who are experiencing bullying, we can teach them how to deal with that and manage it. We can teach students how to avoid harmful situations as well. Thank you so much for watching, and let's continue this conversation and learn to identify cyberbullying and stop it whenever we can.